In this battle, I'm taking on Bro Roblox is cool, and this guy is actually number one on the leaderboard right now, which is pretty crazy. So when I came into this battle, I was quite intimidated. So, anyways, this is actually going to be one of the last battles I use Mega Glalie for quite a while. So I wanted to try out some new Pokemon, but I mean, I figured that I didn't want to see if I can showcase it at a higher level. So this is the number one guy. He's actually the best in the competitive scene at the moment. So, I figured that this would be a good opportunity to see if I can showcase what Glalie has to offer. So I didn't leave with it because this guy is a viewer of the channel, and I knew that he might predict it. So I figured that Sizer would be a good play because even if I end up with a wrong matchup, I can always just U-turn out of it. So I introduced Changro into my team as a replacement to Slurpuff, and I will bring back Slurpuff at some point in the future. So I do want to get that sweep in, but for now, since this guy is at a pretty high level, I want to bring in a good Pokemon, and Tangrowth really just fulfills my team's needs because of its great typing and utility. So anyways, I predicted that this guy was going to go for a Fake Cow, which is why I didn't want to stay in with Sizer, because I don't want to take I don't really want to take chip damage on it. And the good thing with Tangrowth is I'm running Rocky Helmet, so basically anytime the opponent goes for a physical attack, it's going to punish them. And Fake Out especially, he's not getting much damage out of that on me, especially because I can just switch out and get it all back. Whereas with the Rocky Helmet and the Life Orb chip that he's taking, he's going to be just basically wearing himself down without really getting anything out of it. So that's exactly what I wanted to do. And the good thing about Tangrowth too is not only does it come in easily, but it can really do a lot with Sleep Powder and Knockoff. So I decided to go for a Knockoff just to take away the leftovers on that Skarmory, because Skarmory, it can be a pretty annoying Pokemon. Now, I haven't really seen it in Brick Bronze too often, but it is a very popular Pokemon in Gen 6 and Gen 7 competitive. Now, unfortunately, with the introduction of Corviknight, it's kind of been replaced, but it's still something I don't want to mess around with because it has good utility. It's really tanky. It can hit with Brave Bird, so I want to get rid of this if I can. So, anyways, I go into Walkerona. He goes for a Toxic, which really isn't too great, but it's fine. And I was thinking, well, I might switch out, or I might go for a Bug Buzz in case he tries to switch out. But I'm glad I just played it safe and went for a Flamethrower, because that was enough to dispatch the Skarmory. And if I didn't, then he would probably hit me with a Brave Bird, and that would definitely suck. So then he goes into Zero Aura. I'm thinking, well, Tangrowth really is the best play unless he has Volt Switch, and even then it's still totally fine. And he goes for a Plasma Fist, which is really good because it does no damage to me, and you can see now he's already at half HP just from hitting me. So it looks like here he's just trying to sack his Zero Aura, and I go for a Knockoff, which is enough to finish him off, and that's great. So next up, he goes into Marowak, or specifically a Alolan Marowak, and this is actually a really scary Pokemon. I know that a lot of sets, they're gonna have that ability that removes recoil. I'm not quite sure what the name is, and it hits like an absolute truck with a really good stab combination of Ghost and Fire. I was thinking Toxapex might be a good play right here because he's probably going for a Flare Blitz, and that is in fact what he does. And still, even for a resisted attack, that does crazy high damage to Toxapex. So anyways, I stay in unaware that he actually has Earthquake on that, and I'm really lucky that I'm able to live because Toxapex is pretty key to my team, so that was really clutch right there. Now I can luckily switch out thanks to Regenerator just being such a great ability. So now I gotta figure out what I want to do, and I actually thought, well, Snorlax would be a great play because it has Take Fat, so fire types of attacks are resisted, and I'm not going to be affected by its Ghost type moves. So this was actually a really good Pokemon I should have gone into earlier, especially because I have Earthquake, so I can hit back really hard. So that's that. So he actually goes for a Will-O-Wisp, which kind of sucks, but it's not really too bad because I have Rest on Snorlax, and it's not really much of an attacking Pokemon. It's more of a switch-in type of Pokemon, so I wasn't too concerned about that. So anyways, he switches out though on the second Earthquake and goes into Mandibuzz. Now this used to be a problem to my team, but now I really see it as pretty much set up fodder. So I figured that he's probably going to go for either a Knockoff or a Foul Play. I was thinking maybe Foul Play since it's on Snorlax, and he does in fact do that. So Toxapex takes that hit pretty good, and that's all perfectly fine. Now I'm thinking, well, I could also get the Regenerator boost too, so I may as well go into Glalie and then get Toxapex back in good condition. And that's perfectly great because he goes for a Taunt too, expecting me to stay in and probably go for Recover. So now this gives me the opportunity to go ahead and attack with my Glalie. I decided to just go for a body slam just to get some damage off, and also because it has a good chance of paralyzing the enemy. So he goes for a foul play, which actually does crazy high damage, and I guess that's partly because of his life orb. And that's insane. But it's not the biggest deal, because Glalie is really a Pokemon that doesn't really suffer too much from being a low HP, because that just gives me more of a reason to explode. So anyways, unfortunately he has Aerodactyl, so I'm like, well, that's too bad. I probably should just switch out. He's gonna outspeed me. I go into Tangrowth because I was just thinking I would be able to take his hits really well, even his flying type attacks, because Aerodactyl doesn't really get any great flying type stab. Like, I think it should learn Brave Bird, but it doesn't in this game, and really in Pokemon in general. So I figured that Tangrowth would be a good move. Now he actually has Fly on his Aerodactyl, which I guess is some form of flying stab, but it's a really bad move because it's pretty easy to play around. So I figured I may as well go into Toxapex to wall that hit. And then I was expecting him to go for like a Stone Edge or an Earthquake, so I figured that Tangrowth would be a good play, so I could just take that hit in pretty good. And I could just do that as much as I wanted to. And really, if I wanted to, I could also just stay in with Tangrowth, because like I said, it's an incredibly bulky Pokemon, so it can afford to take a hit in. And then let's say he falls for the bait and then attacks me. He's gonna take some chip damage from the Rocky Helmet, and then I can probably hit him hard with whatever attack I have. I guess Giga Drain in that situation. But anyways, I go into Toxapex again because I'm just trying to utilize Regenerator here, and I'll just go for another Recover. I'm just trying to play it safe. Now I figure I should attack him just to take the chance of getting a burn, and also because I want to see how much damage it does, because if I get him low enough, then I can just use Tangrowth to finish him off. So anyways, Scald here does about it's about 30% to 40% damage, which is good. It kind of suffices for me and right now. So now I figured that it's a good opportunity to go into Tangrowth, because let's say he goes for Fly, then the chip damage from Rocky Helmet combined with Giga Drain should be enough to probably finish off his Aerodactyl. And yeah, so I decided, well, I was thinking, should I go for Sleep Powder? I was like, no, actually Giga Drain is probably just the better move here. So that is luckily enough to take care of the Aerodactyl, and even if it wasn't, then I could just go into Sizer and finish him off with my priority attacks. So now he goes back into Marowak. I think he's probably going to expect me to switch out into Toxapex, so I may as well just stay in and go for a knockoff because I have that. And it did turn out that he did expect that, which is why he went for Earthquake, and I'm able to take care of the Marowak. So his last Pokemon is Ditto, and this is unfortunately the worst Pokemon he could transform into. He can't even use the ability. He probably doesn't have the right items, and he's not going to... I know his exact moveset, which really isn't that great for our last Pokemon. So I go into Walkarona, not because it's the optimal move. It's actually better to just stay into Tangrowth, but I wanted to finish this guy off in style, and I also wanted the clean sheets, keeping all 6 of my Pokemon alive. So I finish him off with the Savage Spin Out. There's no way he's gonna live it, and that is GG. That was a great game.